Welcome to a progress review on the study about the feasibility of incorporating Massanutten into a town. This presentation is about traffic issues associated with and the planned resurfacing of Massanutten Drive, which is the main thoroughfare in the community of Massanutten Village. Massanutten is a planned community in the Commonwealth of Virginia. It lies halfway between the city of Harrisonburg and the Blue Ridge Mountains, just north of Route 33, with an entrance at Resort Drive or Route 644. Massanutten actually consists of two planned residential communities and two commercial districts. The first planned residential community, called Massanutten Village, was approved by Rockingham County in 1971. It has a planned land area of more than 5,000 acres for more than 7,300 housing units and resort amenities of skiing, golfing, and swimming. Roughly 30% of this private gated community has been completed. Massanutten Village can be broken down into three areas: the western area, which is largely undeveloped; the Kettle area, which includes private residences, timeshare units, and resort amenities; and the eastern area, which consists largely of private residences. In 1995, Rockingham County decided to grow Massanutten outside the physical and financial boundaries of the gated community of Massanutten Village. The first project was Woodstone Meadows. It is a planned residential community of 435 acres of planned area for resort amenities of golfing, swimming, and horseback riding, along with 1,700 planned timeshare units, of which 500 have been built. In 2005, Rockingham County approved a planned commercial district called Village Festival. It includes a village center, hotels, and a water park, which became operational in 2006. Finally, in 2007, Rockingham County approved another planned commercial district called Massanutten Station. This area will include over 250,000 square feet of shopping plus more residential units. The inhabitants of Massanutten, Virginia consists of citizens who live in the private residences and all the visitors who come to visit the resort amenities and stay in the timeshare units. Almost all of these visitors travel in their vehicles through the main gate of Massanutten Village, located at the intersection of Resort Drive and Massanutten Drive. In 2010, there were more than 2.44 million vehicles entering into the private gated community of Massanutten Village. Less than 46% of these vehicles were associated with Massanutten Village property owners. The remaining more than 54% of the vehicles came from visitors and patrons to Massanutten Village businesses and amenities. This includes vehicles traveling to and from Woodstone Meadows and Village Festival. The more than 2.44 million entrants into Massanutten Village in 2010 translates into an average traffic of 13,370 vehicles per day on Massanutten Drive. This table shows a breakdown of the traffic entering into Massanutten Village in 2010. The table shows the vehicle totals for each month in 2010 and breaks them down to those vehicles associated with property owners and those vehicles associated with the general public. The viewer should note that in August and December of 2010, the average daily traffic on Massanutten Drive was more than 15,000 vehicles. This graph shows the total number of vehicles entering into Massanutten Village between the years of 1995 through 2010. The graph shows the component of those vehicles associated with the Property Owners Association and those vehicles associated with the general public. The viewer should note that the number of vehicles entering into Massanutten Village began increasing in 1996 with the initiation of the Woodstone Meadows project, and then increased even further in 2006 with the opening of the water park. During the period of 2005 through 2010, the number of vehicles entering into Massanutten Village increased by more than 61%. In 2010 alone, the number of vehicles increased by 17.6% over 2009. Many Massanutten residents have seen the effects of this level of traffic on Massanutten Drive since its last repaving in 2005. Massanutten Drive is now crumbling under the weight of 20,000 tons of vehicles traveling on it each day. To place this level of traffic into perspective, this table compares the average daily traffic on Massanutten Drive of 13,370 vehicles to 5 other roads in the local area. As the viewer can see, Massanutten Drive has higher traffic counts than all the roads except for Route 33. In fact, using VDOT research, Massanutten Drive now has the 4th highest traffic count in Rockingham County. Route 81 is first, Route 33 is second, and Route 42 is third. Massanutten Drive, a private road that is privately maintained and privately funded, now has more traffic than Port Republic, Cross Keys, Island Ford, Resort Drive, and Routes 11 and 340. Now, to better understand where the traffic on Massanutten Drive is coming from, we'll use this overhead satellite view to compare traffic on Massanutten Drive and on Resort Drive. The portions of these roads of interest are highlighted by the orange and red arrows. In the 2004-2005 timeframe, Massanutten Drive at the main gate and Resort Drive, counted at Route 33, roughly had the same amount of traffic, about an average of 8,000 vehicles a day. Now, 5 years later, in the 2009 and 2010 timeframe, these two roads showed a drastically different increase in the amount of traffic. Now, Resort Drive, shown here on the right, is indicative of how much traffic comes to Massanutten, Virginia as a whole. And over the 5-year period since the water park opened up, the traffic on Resort Drive only increased by 11.5%. However, Massanutten Drive, over a similar 5-year period, saw a more dramatic increase in traffic of 61.2%. The dramatic difference in increasing traffic on these two roads indicates that Massanutten Drive is seeing a larger traffic flow that is internal to the Massanutten community. This stems from vehicles traveling from Woodstone Meadows timeshares into the Kettle amenities, and from the Kettle timeshares to the Woodstone Meadows amenities and to Village Festival. The growth plan by Rockingham County back in 1995 outside of the Massanutten Village area has resulted in a dramatic impact to Massanutten Village's main thoroughfare of Massanutten Drive. Now, what does all this traffic flow mean for Massanutten Drive, the road that was designed back in the early 1970s and is only 24 foot wide? Well, the standards back then to which this road was designed to are shown in this chart. The viewer can readily see that Massanutten Drive was designed for a maximum of 5,500 cars per day. Therefore, Massanutten Drive is actually bearing 2 to 3 times more weight now than it was designed for. Thus, Massanutten Drive is literally crumbling under the weight of 20,000 tons of vehicles each day. Massanutten Drive was last resurfaced in 2005. In 2011, the Massanutten Property Owners Association will spend another $200,000 to $300,000 on it. The current plan is to just resurface the existing 24-foot width. Is that a wise investment? We think not. Massanutten Drive should be widened to at least 30 feet from the Hawksbill Mill Station to the Gap. This will allow the road to better withstand the increasing vehicle loads as well as help eliminate some of the edge damage. Additionally, the Massanutten Property Owners Association should retain a project engineer with road expertise. This consultant will help protect the large investments made by MPOA on roads and advise on how to address the increasing vehicle counts. John McNair Sr. would be a good candidate for this consulting role, as he was the original designer of Massanutten Drive back in the 1970s. The Massanutten Property Owners Association should also begin developing a long-range plan for all the roads in Massanutten Village. This to address the increasing vehicle counts, to include those coming from the projected more than 1,000 timeshares yet to be built in Woodstone Meadows. Considerations for improving Massanutten Drive, and for that matter all the roads in Massanutten Village, should include the following. 1. Cost savings. 2. Convenience. 3. Safety. And 4. Appearance. Additionally, decision makers should note that VDOT and county design standards are in place for a reason. Additionally, decision makers should realize that road capacity is more than just the ability to carry the load of traffic that travels on it. It also includes the line of sight capacity, which is the curves and slopes in the road, and it includes the geometrics capacity, which is the intersections, turn lanes, and traffic lights on the road. It should be noted that both the line of sight capacity and the geometrics capacity affects the safety and travel flow maintenance. Keeping these considerations in mind, the following long-range improvements are suggested for Massanutten Drive. In the immediate term, it is suggested to improve the load capacity of the eastern segment of Massanutten Drive. This means to widen the asphalt to at least 30 feet from the Hawksbill Mail Station to the gap. If MPOA chooses just to resurface the existing 24-foot road, it is believed that the road will need to be resurfaced again in roughly 3 years due to the heavy traffic load seen now. Next, in the near term, when the traffic flow reaches roughly 15,000 vehicles, it is suggested to improve the geometrics capacity at the intersection with Resort Drive. In the intermediate term, when the traffic flow reaches 17,500 vehicles, it is suggested that the line of sight capacity be improved both in the Gap and the Kettle Road segments. Additionally, the remaining section of Massanutten Drive be widened to 30 feet from the Gap to Del Webb Drive. In the far term, when the traffic flow reaches 20,000 vehicles, it is suggested that the geometrics capacity be improved for the entire road segment. This includes adding turn lanes at specific road locations in order to improve traffic flow and increase safety. In summary, starting in 1995, Rockingham County decided to grow Massanutten, Virginia outside the physical and financial boundaries of Massanutten Village. The growth included one residential area called Woodstone Meadows and two commercial areas called Village Festival and Massanutten Station. It is important to note that this growth provided no additional funding for the Massanutten Property Owners Association. At the time of the planned growth, Massanutten citizens expressed a concern over additional vehicle traffic, and as a result, part of Resort Drive was increased to 4 lanes, and the remainder was straightened and widened. The road improvements were paid for by VDOT and the Great Eastern Corporation to the tune of about $7.5 million. The planned growth by Rockingham County has had a significant impact on Massanutten Village, specifically on the vehicle traffic found on Massanutten Drive. In 2010, there were 2.44 million vehicles entering into Massanutten Village, and 54% of these vehicles came from the general public. This translates into an average daily traffic of 13,370 vehicles on Massanutten Drive, which is a 17.6% increase over 2009 and a 61.2% increase over the last 5 years. This can be compared to Resort Drive, which only saw an 11.5% increase over the same period of time. This heavy vehicle traffic on Massanutten Drive has required the road to be resurfaced just 6 years after previous resurfacing. It is literally crumbling under the weight of 20,000 tons of vehicles traveling on it each day. Many roads in Massanutten Village are in need of repair due to the extended time between resurfacing, utility construction, and increased traffic. Massanutten Drive needs to be widened to 30 feet to handle the increased vehicle loads and improved for future vehicle traffic flow. The subdivision roads also need resurfacing, and the MPOA administrator has estimated that $250,000 per year over the next 5 years is required. Since the Massanutten Property Owners Association cannot receive public funding for the maintenance of its private roads, we believe that a comprehensive road improvement plan is needed to establish the requirements and the costs so that people understand what the financial impact will be. Thank you for listening to this presentation, and we hope that you will take a look at our website and read about the feasibility of incorporating Massanutten into a town. Shortly, there will be another presentation placed on the site that will give a progress review of our efforts.